How do you tell a story without words? With vocabulary stripped and voice silenced, how can we ensure that we will still be heard? The struggle of the mute protagonist is not new, evolving across mediums from oral history into antiquity, and the modern AAA release of games like The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. From legends to blockbusters, puppet shows, shadow plays, horror tropes, period pieces, award fodder, and the determination and triumph of the human spirit. Take away any sense, and it's a tragedy. Make that the ability to speak, and you merely gain our pity. But one game took the silent trope and made it a core building block, setting out to tell a story with no words, no written language, starting from nothing and creating a world out of color, contrast, and creative composition. Seems unlikely and unenjoyable at best, but you would be mistaken. Prepare to enter a world. A silent world full of music and magic. This is Video Games as an Art Form by Stories Telling Stories. Episode 1. GRIS. A Story Without Words. Our journey begins with the protagonist falling from the sky and landing in stark nothingness. She awakens, surrounded by a white plain, devoid of contrast or color, unable to speak. She tries to sing, but what remains of her voice is wispy and weak. Feeling lost and alone, she falls into a dark and gloomy odyssey, embarking on a quest to both regain her voice and heal her broken world. Developed by Nomada Studios and released in 2018, GRIS is a platformer that stands out for its stunning visuals, atmospheric soundtrack, and a unique approach to storytelling, laid out across 5 chapters, each thematically linked to the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But how do you tell a story without words? Ask a dancer. Ask a painter. Narrative is all around us. Even the sea witch Ursula implored a young, naive mermaid to speak to the young prince using body language, as she would no longer have use of her voice. The tired saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words comes to mind. Not to discount the importance and power that a writer yields with their fingertips on keys or pen to a page, but what makes GRIS so special is that it manages to convey a touching and emotional story without using any words at all, and somehow produces a piece that not only conveys depth and complexity, but one that stands so well on its own 2 feet that a written script would detract from the story at hand and take away from the nuance and beauty that the designers at Nomada were able to produce. Which is one of many reasons why this game was chosen as the lead-off episode for this season, to raise the bar and set the stage for why video games should be considered independent art forms alongside and independent of other arts like painting, music composition, and dance. Some believe that art is a representation of reality, while others believe that it is a separate reality altogether, an energy stream or higher level consciousness into which the creative mind can tap. The building blocks of everything, born of nothing, created out of something as intangible as an idea. Art, in and of itself, is the creation and modification of reality, If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. Consider the different ways that art can be used to create a new reality. Surrealism, a non-representational philosophy, uses dreamlike imagery to create a world that is both familiar and strange. This type of art can be used to explore the subconscious mind, to challenge our perceptions of reality, or to simply create a visually arresting experience. Whereas representational art aims to create a realistic illusion. Abstract forms and colors of the non-representational create a more expressive and emotional experience. Ultimately, the relationship between art and reality is a matter of interpretation. There is no right or wrong answer, and each person will bring their own unique perspective to the table. However, by understanding the different ways that art can be used to represent or create reality, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the power of art. Art can be a powerful tool for understanding and representing reality. It can help us to see the world in new ways, to challenge our assumptions, and to connect with our emotions. Art can be used to create a new reality, a world that is both familiar and strange. And only by exploring the relationship between art and reality can we gain a deeper understanding of the world around us. In addition to the different ways that art can be used to represent or create reality, there are also a number of different ways that art can be used to interact with reality. Performance art often involves the artist interacting with the audience in real time. This type of art can be used to challenge the traditional relationship between the artist and the viewer, and to create a more immersive and interactive experience. Art can also be used to raise awareness about social and political issues. Protest art is often used to challenge the status quo and to raise awareness about important issues. This type of art can be used to inspire change, to start a conversation, or simply to make people think. The relationship between art and reality is complex and multifaceted. Art can be used to represent, create, or interact with reality in a variety of ways. By understanding the different ways that art can be used, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the power that art has and its role in our lives. Utilizing a combination of watercolor-style backgrounds and hand-drawn characters, GRIS creates a surreal and dreamlike atmosphere across a non-representational world that evokes deep feelings of nostalgia and wonder. The color palette evolves over time and changes as GRIS progresses through different areas, reflecting her changing emotional state. Early on, her world is grayscaled and muted, like her sadness and depression. However, as she explores this strange new world and overcomes its challenges, the colors become more vibrant and saturated, reflecting her growing sense of hope and happiness. Each area of the game has its own distinct palette and atmosphere, with each change carefully reflecting her changing emotional state. In addition to color and light, each area of the game has its own unique musical theme, and the music changes dynamically to reflect the player's actions. The effectiveness of the soundscape is owed to the exercise in restraint and delicate touch composer Berlinist brought to the table, creating an emotionally engaging and truly immersive experience. But what is the story of GRIS? Beyond beautiful visuals, emotional story, and haunting soundtrack, GRIS is a story about one woman's struggle to overcome her song of sorrow. Waking up in the palm of a crumbling statue of a woman, she attempts to sing out but quickly becomes choked up, and the statue's hands crumble, dropping her to the colorless earth below. She discovers a number of strange structures that seem to be powered by mysterious points of light resembling stars. She can collect these lights to gain new abilities, such as turning a heavy block of stone and creating a new pathway made of constellations. As she progresses through the game, the world around her begins to come to life. The colorless earth becomes lush and green, the crumbling structures become whole again, and the stars in the sky become brighter, until the light, the color, and her lost voice finally return as her odyssey reaches its conclusion. GRIS's journey is a metaphor for the process of grieving and healing. As she overcomes her challenges, she learns to embrace her emotions and to find joy in the world again. She learns to grow and heal from her traumas despite the overwhelming darkness of grief and loss that shrouded her world from color and light. GRIS serves as proof that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a better tomorrow. It's a reminder that we are all capable of overcoming our darkest challenges and finding joy in the world again. Touring a gallery, we can appreciate the use of light, shadow, and color that an artist applied to a palette. Going out to a theater, we can immerse ourselves in a whole new world conceived and delivered by playwrights, actors, and experience the singular vision of a director. So much of art is built upon passive experiences. Gaming, being such a new medium in the history of humanity, has developed and matured centuries in mere decades by comparison. Interactive art, through gaming and other mediums, has the potential to move humanity in otherwise inconceivable directions. GRIS stands as a prime example, a remarkable piece of interactive art that showcases the power of visual storytelling through emotional depth and crossing multiple artistic and philosophical ideals to create a one-of-a-kind experience for those curious enough to explore a world without words. Throughout this season, we'll feature additional titles that stand as exceptional examples of the mastery and magic of interactive storytelling in gaming. From the power of forms, like letters and poetry, to mental health struggles, and the profound stories of heartbreak and love found within a genre that violates the terms of service of every mainstream video platform, yet deserves to be taken seriously in its own right. But, for now, thank you for joining. We'll see you next time, as we examine the struggles of coming of age in the 90s through the eyes of a young woman who returns home from abroad to find her family gone and the house empty, with only letters unsent from her younger sister to tell the story of an entire year away. Thank you for listening. If you like the show and would like to help us remain independent and free of ads, consider supporting us on Patreon for $1 a month or more. And until next time, Sláinte.